And today our mission is, well, it sounds simple, but it's absolutely fundamental. We are doing a deep dive into mastering the English simple past tense.
Yeah, fundamental is the right word. Think of it as the language's time machine. It's the structure that lets us talk about anything that's already happened. You know, if you can't talk about yesterday or last week or even what you did 5 minutes ago, well, you're kind of stuck, right? You can't share experiences, you can't tell stories.
Exactly. And we know learners hit a couple of big hurdles with the simple past. There's that tricky verb to be, was, and were. And then there's the famous challenge of irregular verbs, the ones that break the rules.
Right. So today we're going to lay out a blueprint for handling all of it. We'll break it down. First, how to describe states and locations in the past, the was and were stuff.
Okay.
Then, the regular way of talking about past actions, the nice, orderly system.
The causes I and ending.
That's the one. And finally, we'll tackle those irregular verbs head on, the ones you just have to learn.
It's almost like English has two different systems running at the same time for the past tense.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You've got states, you've got actions, and moving smoothly between them. That's the key to sounding fluent, not hesitant.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start at the beginning. Before we get into running and eating and all that, let's nail down how to talk about where things were, how things were, states and locations.
Right.
So, in the present tense, if we're talking about how something is or where it is, we use am, is, or are. Those three forms of to be. How does that change when we shift into the past?
Well, the good news is English simplifies things here. It kind of compresses those forms. Think about the singular ones first. Am, which you only use for I, and is, which you use for he, she, it, the cat, the weather, anything singular.
Okay. I am, he is, it is.
Exactly. When you want to talk about those same things, but in the past, both am and is become one single word, was. W-A-S.
Oh, that is simple. So one word covers both.
Yep. It's efficient. If today I am happy,
Then yesterday I was happy.
precisely. Or if today the weather is sunny.
Yesterday the weather was cloudy.
Okay, I get it. So was is for any single person or thing in the past, except for you, I guess.
We'll get to you in a second, but yes, for I, he, she, it, the dog, the house. If it's singular and in the past and you're describing its state or location, it's was. The book was on the table, he was tired.
Got it. So was handles the singular past state or location. That brings us to the other word, were. W-E-R-E. This must be for plurals then, like we or they.
Exactly right. Where is the past tense of are. So just like you use are for plurals in the present, we are happy, they are ready.
In the past, it becomes we were happy, they were ready.
Perfect. It follows the pattern. Now here's the slightly odd bit you mentioned. Where is also used for you. Always. Even if you're talking to just one single person.
Yeah, that always felt a bit strange. Why is you treated like a plural in the past tense with where? You know, where were you? Even if it's just me you're asking. That's a fantastic question, and yeah, it trips people up. The reason is purely historical. English, way back, actually did have a separate word for you when talking to one person. It was thou.
Oh, like in Shakespeare. Wherefore art thou Romeo?
Exactly. And thou would have taken a different past tense verb, probably something like wast. But over time, thou disappeared from everyday language. People started using you for everyone.
And you was originally the plural form, or maybe the formal one.
Both, really.
Yeah.
It was used for groups or to show respect. But eventually, it became the standard for everyone, singular and plural. The thing is, when you took over, it kept its plural verb forms. So even when talking to one person, we're stuck with the grammar of the old plural formal you.
Wow. So the language changed, but it left behind this grammatical fossil. You acts singular, but takes the plural verb were.
That's basically it. So the rule is simple, even if the reason is complicated.
Yeah.
Use were for all plural subjects, we, they, the dogs, the books, and always for you.
Okay. So where were you last Saturday?
I was at the park. See? You takes where, but I takes was.
And I remember seeing a good example contrasting them. Something like, the park was beautiful,
Right, park is singular, so was.
but many people were there.
Perfect. People is plural, so were. You have to switch based on the subject, even if you're talking about the same place or time.
So the key takeaway here is, use was and were only for describing states, conditions, or locations in the past, like painting the scene.
Exactly, you're setting the stage. The food was good, my parents were at home. It's about description, not action.
Right, you wouldn't say, I was walked. That sounds completely wrong. It's, I walked. That's a different system.
Precisely. Was and were tell us how things were or where things were. They don't tell us what someone did.
Okay, so that's the foundation laid, describing the past state. Now let's move into the action, what people did.
Right. And this is where we move away from to be and into the thousands of other verbs English uses. Walk, talk, eat, see, go.
And this is where we encounter those two systems you mentioned, the regular one and the irregular one. Let's start with the easy route first, the regular one. Right, so shifting gears from describing a state like I was tired to saying what you actually did, like I walked home. This brings us to the first major way English handles past actions. And you said this one is pretty straightforward.
For the most part, yes. This is the regular system, and it covers the vast majority of English verbs, maybe 90% or even more. The rule is beautifully simple. Just add ed to the end of the basic verb form. That's it. Just stick aed on the end.
That's the core rule.
Right.
It's wonderfully predictable. If you know the verb for today, you just add ed to talk about yesterday.
So if today I walk,
Yeah.
yesterday I.
Right.
Today I talk, yesterday I.
Da.
Today I watch TV, yesterday I.
Watch TV, see? Simple, reliable.
That is nice. It lets you build up sequences of actions really easily. I remember an example like I listened to music, then I waited in line, then I ordered a coffee. Exactly. Listened, waited, ordered, all regular, all just adding ed. Or think about chores. I cleaned the kitchen, I played some music, I cooked dinner.
And my friend liked it.
Hopefully. But yes, cleaned, played, cooked, liked, all following that same simple pattern. That predictability is, well, it's your best friend when you're learning or speaking. If you're not sure about a verb's past tense, guessing by adding ed is usually a safe bet.
Okay, that sounds almost too easy. There has to be a catch, right?
Well, there's a slight complication. It's not about the spelling. The spelling is always EED. The catch is the pronunciation.
So just because you write EED doesn't mean you always say ED as a separate sound.
Exactly. And this is crucial for sounding natural. If you pronounce every EE ending as a distinct syllable, like walked, talked, watched, it sounds a bit robotic, like you're reading it very carefully.
Okay, so how should it sound?
There are actually 3 possible sounds for that AD ending. And which one you use depends entirely on the last sound of the main verb before you add the EED.
Right, okay, so it's about the sound, not the letter.
Precisely. It's about whether that final sound is voiced or voiceless.
Voiced or voiceless? What does that mean?
A voiceless sound is one you make just with air, without vibrating your vocal cords. Put your hand on your throat, you shouldn't feel any vibration for sounds like PKSH, CHFTH, as in think.
Okay, like PKS, no vibration.
Right. So if a verb ends in one of those voiceless sounds, the EED ending is pronounced as a T sound, just a T.
So walk ends in a K sound, which is voiceless.
So walked is pronounced walked.
Caught T, okay. And watch ends in T.
Voiceless. So watched is watch T.
Watch T, laugh ends in an F sound.
Voiceless again. So laughed is laugh. It's a crisp, airy sound.
Okay, so that's the T sound for voiceless endings. What's the second sound?
The second sound is a D sound. This happens when the base verb ends in a voiced sound. A voiced sound is one where your vocal cords do vibrate. Put your hand on your throat again, you'll feel it for sounds like L, M, N, R, G, V, Z, B, and importantly, any vowel sound.
So if the verb ends in a vowel, like play.
Play ends in a vowel sound, which is voiced. So played is pronounced playedy.
Played D. Okay, clean ends in N.
Voiced. So cleaned is clean D.
Clean D. Order ends in R.
Voice. Ordered is ordered D. This D sound is probably the most common one. You need that vibration.
Right. Can't whisper. Cleaned, it sounds wrong. Clean D. Okay, so we have T for voiceless endings, D for voice endings. What's the third one? You said there were 3.
The third sound is the one that actually does sound like an extra syllable. D, like I'd.
So this is when we do say the ed sound.
Yes, but only in 2 very specific cases. This aid sound is used only when the base verb already ends in a T sound or a D sound.
Okay, why only then?
Think about it. If a verb ends in T, like wait, and you just add another T sound, how would you hear it? Wait, T. It's impossible to distinguish. Same if a verb ends in D, like need. It gets lost.
Okay, so adding the little I sound, the E separates the sound.
Exactly. It makes the past tense ending clearly audible. So wait becomes wait-aid, need becomes need, want becomes want-aid, decide becomes decided.
Waited, aid, need aid, got it. That extra syllable clearly marks it as past tense when the verb already ends in a T or D.
Precisely. So those are the 3 sounds. T after voiceless sounds, except T. D after voice sounds, including vowels, except D, and dade after T or D sounds.
Okay, that's a really important detail. So the EED spelling is simple, but getting the sound right takes a bit more attention to that final sound of the verb. Crucial for fluency.
Absolutely crucial. Mastering those 3 sounds makes a huge difference. So that's the regular route. Simple spelling, slightly tricky pronunciation, but very reliable overall.
But it doesn't cover everything, does it? You mentioned that 90% estimate earlier. What about the other 10%?
Ah, yes. Now we venture into the slightly wilder territory. The verbs that refuse to conform. The irregular verbs.
The ones that cause all the headaches?
They can, but think of them as a fun puzzle. They're the rebels of the past tense.
Right, the irregulars. These are the verbs where you can't just add ADD. They change in completely different ways, right?
That's exactly it. They decided ATD wasn't for them. And the tricky part is, while there aren't that many of them compared to regular verbs, maybe around 200 common ones, they include some of the absolute most frequently used words in English. You simply can't avoid them.
Words like go, eat, see, have, the really basic ones.
Core ones, yeah. And it's interesting why they're irregular. Any idea?
Are they just older words from before the ETD rule became standard?
You've hit it exactly. Most irregular verbs are survivors from Old English or Anglo-Saxon times. They're ancient verbs, describing fundamental actions: moving, eating, seeing, thinking. They were used so constantly for so long that when the language started standardizing things with ATD centuries later, these old verbs just resisted. They kept their original, often vowel-changing past tense forms.
So they're like linguistic fossils, preserving older patterns. That actually makes them feel a bit less random, like learning little bits of history.
Thinking of it that way definitely helps. And while they seem random at first, there are some patterns we can spot. It's not total chaos. We can group many of them.
Okay, grouping sounds helpful. What's a common pattern?
One big group involves a vowel change inside the verb. The consonants around it might stay the same, but the vowel sound shifts to signal the past tense.
Ah, okay. Like drink.
Perfect example. The I sound in drink changes to an A sound for the past. Drank.
Drink, drank. Okay. What else fixed that pattern?
Sing becomes sang, swim becomes swam, begin becomes began. See that I to A shift?
Yeah, I do. Drink, drank, sing, sang, swim, swam, begin, began. That's a useful little group.
It is. Then you have other vowel shifts. Think about eat.
Eat, past tense, is ate. A-T-E. So the E sound changes to an A sound.
Exactly. We eat dinner together. Or take. The long A sound shifts.
The oo sound in took. I took the bus.
Right. So that's category 1, the vowel shifters. Keeping the basic structure but changing the core sound.
Okay, what's another category? Some seem to change much more drastically.
Yeah, category 2 would be the total or complex changers. These often look quite different from the present tense form. Sometimes they add a T or 8 ending, even though they aren't technically regular.
The classic example here has to be go, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The past of go isn't go-ed or anything logical like that. It's a completely different word. Went. W-E-N-T.
Why went? It looks nothing like go.
Another historical crook. Went was originally the past tense of an old verb, wend, which meant to travel or to go. Over time, wend fell out of use, but its past tense form. Went somehow got attached to go and completely replaced go's original past tense. It's a linguistic takeover.
Wow. Okay, so went is a borrowed past tense. What other big changers are there? You mentioned ut.
Yes, there's a common pattern there, especially for verbs ending in yi or involving certain vowel sounds, like buy.
Buy becomes bought, B-O-G-H-T.
Right, and think becomes
Thought.
T-H-O-G.
Catch becomes caught. Teach becomes taught.
That ought or ought ending is a recognizable pattern for a set of irregulars.
Okay, buy, bought, think, thought. Those are super common. What about really essential verbs like have or make?
They fall into this big change category too,
Yeah.
but they're simpler. Have just becomes had. I had a good time. That's easy to remember.
Have had. Okay.
And make.
Make becomes made. She made a cake. Again, very common. You just need to learn it.
Make made. Got it. And see. Seeing things is pretty fundamental.
See changes completely to saw. S-A-W. I saw a movie last night.
Seesaw. Okay. These are definitely words you use every single day. Let's add a few more must-knows. What about get?
Get becomes God. I got an email.
No.
Know becomes new. K-N-E-W. He knew the answer.
Come.
Come becomes she came to the party.
Wake. Like waking up.
Wink becomes woke. I woke up late.
Okay, so that covers a lot of the big changes. Vowel shifts, total changes like goent, the rune pattern, and these core daily verbs like have had, make made, get got, know knew, come came, wake woke. Is there another category?
Yes. One more tricky category. Category 3, the no change verbs.
No change. You mean they look the same in the present and the past? Exactly the same spelling. You have to rely entirely on the context words like yesterday or last week to know if it's past tense.
Okay, give me an example.
Put. Today, I put the keys on the table.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I put the keys on the table. Same word.
Puh. Okay, what else?
Cut. He cuts the grass every week.
Yeah.
Last week, he cut the grass.
Yeah.
Hit, hurt, let, shut. They all say the same. Hit, hurt, let, shut.
Right. So context is everything for those, but isn't there one really famous, tricky one in this group?
Ah, yes. The champion of irregular trickiness. Read. R-E-A-D.
Because the spelling stays the same, R-E-A-D, for present and past.
But the pronunciation changes. And that's the only clue you get.
Okay, break that down. How does the sound change?
In the present tense, read rhymes with need or seed because it has that long E sound. Today I read the news.
Okay, read for present.
But in the past tense, read rhymes with bed or said. It sounds exactly like the color red. Yesterday I read a book.
Ah, read today, read yesterday. Same spelling, different sound. That is subtle.
It really is. If you can use read correctly in the past tense with that red pronunciation, you're showing a really good grasp of these irregular nuances.
So to sum up the irregulars, some change vowels, drink. Some change a lot, go in, buy, bought. Some don't change spelling at all, put. And read changes its sound, but not its spelling, read, read.
That's a pretty good summary. The key thing is you just have to memorize them. Make lists, use flashcards, practice using them in sentences. Because they're so common, you really can't function fluently without them.
Right, so now we have the three main pieces, the state location verbs, were, the regular action verbs, ED with the three pronunciations, and this challenging but crucial list of irregular action verbs.
Exactly. The final step is seeing how they all work together in real flowing conversation. Because nobody talks using just one type, right? You mix them all up constantly.
Yeah, you need to be able to switch between them smoothly. Let's look at how that happens in practice.
Right, because learning the rules is one thing, but actually using them together in a story, that's when it clicks. You need to see how was and were set the scene, while the EDD verbs and the irregulars drive the action forward.
Absolutely. Real conversation just blends them. So let's take that city trip anecdote we touched on earlier and really unpack the mix of verb types. How did that start?
It started with setting the time and the main action using a core irregular verb. On Saturday, I went to the city with my friend. Go becomes went. Straight into irregular territory.
Okay, went, irregular. Then we needed to set the mood, the state.
Exactly. Using to be in the past, we were excited. Plural subject, we, so were, describing their state, because the weather was perfect for walking. Singular subject, weather, so was, describing its state.
Right, we're excited was perfect, using was were for description. Then the action started.
Yep, with some nice, reliable, regular verbs. First, we walked around and looked at the shops. Walk plus F-E-D-D. Look plus F-E-D. Notice the pronunciation there.
Walk T, look T, that T sound because K is voiceless.
Perfect. Smooth, sequential actions using the regular rule. But then the focus shifted.
Yeah, spotting something specific.
Right, and a regular verb of perception. I saw a nice shirt in a window. See becomes saw. But I decided the price was too high.
Ooh, nice mix there. Decided, that's a regular verb ending in D, so it gets the T'd sound, decided. And then back to was to describe the state of the price.
Exactly. You see how you flip between systems? Saw, irregular, decided, irregular D, was state. Then the shopping continues.
With another irregular, buying something.
Yep. I didn't buy the shirt, but I bought a book that looked interesting. But buy becomes bought. Classic irregular.
Okay, bought the book, then they got hungry. How did we describe that state?
Back to were. After the shops, we were hungry. State of being.
That's
So
great.
what action did they take?
Another irregular so we went to a small restaurant nearby.
Exactly. Went again. And then inside the restaurant, more irregulars. We found a table quickly. Find becomes found. And sat down. Sit becomes sat.
Found and sat, two more core irregulars, and then eating and drinking. Those must be irregular too.
Definitely. I ate a big pizza. Eat becomes ate. And I drank a lemonade. Drink becomes drank.
Ate, drank, and the friend.
We used to have in the past. My friend had a special pasta dish.
Yeah.
Have becomes had.
Okay, so went, were, was, walked, looked, saw, decided, was, bought, were, went, found, sat, ate, drank, had. That's a lot of switching. How did the story wrap up?
With a bit more conversation, using a regular verb, we talked for a long time. And then the journey home.
Another motion verb, take. Then we took the train home. Take becomes took, and I made sure to thank my friend. Make becomes made.
Perfect. So look at that sequence. Talked, regular, took, irregular, made, irregular. It flows naturally because you're just grabbing the right tool for the job. Was for states, ed for regular actions, and the specific irregular form when needed. You're not even thinking about the categories anymore. You're just telling the story.
That's a great illustration of the mix. Now let's contrast that with the other anecdote, the countryside holiday. You said that one leaned a bit more on states and atmosphere.
Yeah, it had a slightly different feel, more relaxed. So was and were. Played a big role in setting the scene right from the start. My last holiday was in the spring. Was for the singular holiday. I went with my sister. Go becomes went. Irregular action.
Okay. Was, went, where did they stay?
We stayed in a small hotel. Stay is regular, ends in a vowel sound, so stayed, pronounced with D.
Stayed. Regular. And describing the hotel.
Back to was and were.
Oh.
The hotel was very old but very nice. Was for singular hotel. And the fields outside were green and full of flowers. Were for plural fields. So yeah, it was were, paint the picture.
Yeah, old hotel, green fields. Setting the scene, then the activities.
Mixing regular and irregular again. Every morning we walked in the nearby hills. Walk, regular sound. We saw many sheep and cows. Saw, irregular.
Walked, saw, regular, irregular. Did they do anything else? Visit places?
We could add that in easily. We visited a small farm. Visit ends in T, so regular dade sound. Visited. Where we talked to the farmer. Talked, regular dade sound.
Visited, talked. Okay, what about food? That usually involves irregulars.
Almost always.
Yeah.
I bought some local cheese at a market. Bought irregular. Which we ate with bread. Ate, irregular. And we drank fresh juice.
Drink, irregular.
Bought, ate, drank. Classic irregular food verbs. And how did the evenings usually end? What was their state?
Described with were. In the evenings, we were usually tired. Plural we, describing their state.
Okay, they were tired. So what action resulted from that state?
A quiet, relaxing one involving our trickiest irregular. So we read our books for a few hours, past tense read, pronounced read, before we went to sleep. Went, irregular.
Nice use of read there, alongside were and went. So again, a totally natural blend. Was, went, stayed, was, were, walked, saw, visited, talked, bought, ate, drank, were, read, went. Exactly. And the point for you, the listener, is that this blending is the goal. It's not about keeping the categories separate in your head forever, but about getting comfortable enough to pull the right past tense form, whether it's was an EDD form or an irregular like went or saw instantly, depending on what you need to say.
It really is the key to unlocking fluent storytelling, isn't it? Moving beyond just saying what is happening to sharing what has happened, your experiences, your memories.
Absolutely. And don't worry about making mistakes, especially with the irregulars. If you accidentally say buy at instead of bought, people will almost certainly still understand you. The crucial thing is to try. To practice mixing these forms together. That's how you build fluency.
Okay, so we've covered the landscape. States with was, regular actions with EDD and its sounds, and the irregular challenge verbs. What's the final takeaway? Hashtag tag outro.
Well, the big synthesis, the core idea is really just embracing that English uses these parallel systems for the past. You've got the orderly ED system for most verbs, which is great, but you also have this essential set of irregular verbs, the old survivors like go, see, have, make, that you simply must memorize because they're used all the time.
And mastering the flow between them and knowing when to use was or were for description, that's the goal. Oh, and don't forget the pronunciation of EDD. That TDD thing is so important for sounding natural.
Crucial detail, absolutely. Walk seat, played.
Need. Practice those sounds.
Okay, let's do a super quick lightning round of those absolute core irregulars one last time just to hammer them home. Go.
Went.
Eat.
Ate. Saw.
Had.
Took. Bought.
Make.
Made. Knew. Drank.
Come.
Drink.
Put.
Put. No change.
Okay, that's a solid toolkit right there.
Yeah.
You've got Wasser, you've got the ADD rule and sounds, and you've got that core list of irregulars.
Yeah.
Which leads us to a final thought. A question for you, the listener, to take away. Now that you have this framework was, ED, your regulars think about your own last weekend. How accurately could you describe it using these tools? Try constructing just, say, 5 sentences about what you did. But here's the challenge. Try to use at least one example from each category we talked about. One was or were, one regular ED verb, and one irregular verb.
Ooh, I like that challenge. 5 sentences. Mix and match the past tense forms, and maybe add one more specific challenge.
Go for it.
Try using the trickiest one, read. Write a sentence about something you read last night or last weekend. Remember that pronunciation shift? It has to sound like the color red. If you can nail that, you're definitely mastering the past tense.
Great final challenge. Keep practicing those forms, listen for the sounds, and don't be afraid to tell your stories. Until next time.
See you for the next deep dive.